Hey guys, everybody live, Diesel Core members that are not local, say hi guys! Hi! Hey guys, say hi, say hi! We got a packed house, and I just want to one more time congratulate each and every one of you guys that are on this call. You qualified, you made it here, and we wish you could be here in person, but I'm doing the best I can to make you feel like you're right here with us. So you're going to be live here on this feed. I hope everybody just remembers they're there, so kind of stay in the screen and enjoy. And I don't know why my hair's like sticking up, but it is. All right. So see you guys in a little bit. And give it to Becky and Robert, Mom and Dad, aka.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Diesel Core. On behalf of my lovely wife and daughter, we'd like to welcome you. And if you haven't been here already for a workout, and we got a very special treat this evening. We have two high-profile corporate officers from Beachbody, Cim Carver and Craig Collier. They're going to come and give us a private training session, Beach 101, and I don't know what's on the agenda, but it's going to be awesome. If you haven't heard Cim and Craig speak, it's you're in for a treat. So I'm sure there'll be probably a Q&A after or whatever, so we can answer all your questions that you have. And I think my lovely wife has a little something to say and present.
Well, I want to make you guys official members. So I'm not even sure what size you guys have, but
Small.
So you guys, if not there, you can go to the back and switch your size. I'm not sure if they're the right sizes. And I wanted to give you one of these, but I think the size is up there. If you can, yeah, if the sizes fit you. If not, we're gonna mail you one.
Nice. There you go.
There you go. Robert, you're like my husband.
Boom!
Wait, go.
Again? Yes.
Yo, Monica, ready?
1, 2, say cheese. Awesome.
All right,
Get a bigger one.
Okay, I will probably need a bigger one.
Okay.
I can do a small.
There you go.
Or we can even do muscle shirts.
Yeah, we got sleeveless too if you want that. We just whatever you guys want.
So thank you guys for coming. And let's get started.
Who's up first? Kim, you gonna start?
Okay,
Monica, start.
I'm gonna
Introduce.
say something real quick. All right, guys. So thank you for being here tonight. We know that it gave you a little bit of a challenge. Kim and I kind of got together. I have weekly calls with Kim, which is really great because he helps me just work on the business, get down to the nitty gritty, set goals, and kind of what we do as coaches with our sponsoring coach. Hit goals, set goals, and crush them, and that's what Kim helps me do on a weekly basis. And so one of the calls that I got on with him, I was sharing my goals, the big scary end of the year goal. And he says, I want to help you. I want to do whatever I can possible to help you get there. And so one thing led to the other, and we arrived at this idea of getting you guys together, him being here doing this private training, which it's huge for us. It's a huge privilege. I hope you guys realize that. And I know you did, because as soon as I announced it, you guys put on the hustle and you got here. So give yourselves a round of applause. Everybody that qualified to do tonight, including you guys. I really appreciate you guys putting in the hustle and making it happen. With that being said, tonight, Kim kind of went over what he's going to talk to you guys about tonight. And what I want you guys to do, see, I've gone to a lot of trainings in the last 4 years as a Beachbody coach. You go to Summit, you go to Leadership, you get training in and out, and what's always really impacted me is that it's not just training on our programs or training on nutrition or training on anything like that. It's always been personal growth. It's always been something that's going to help me, not just in the world of Beachbody, but in everything that I do. And I came from corporate America. You guys know I retired myself 2 years to do this full time. And just the fact that this business, corporate, these gentlemen are here for us. And you're going to see that they are investing in us. It's not in the company. It's not in the products. It's in the people that stand behind that. And I want you guys to really and hone in on what that means. They're making you a better person helping you, giving you tools to go out there and change someone else's lives. That is what Beachbody is about, and that's what I pride myself so much in doing this. Came from corporate America. It was really tough when that chemistry, that aspect was not there. That's here. So what I want you guys to go into tonight is knowing that you're probably going to hear something you've already heard before, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the same things, but here's what I will tell you in my experience. Sometimes I hear something and it wasn't the right time for me to hear it. I may hear it and I heard it, but it didn't sink. And what I've kind of conditioned myself to is every time I go to a training, even if it's Challenge Groups 101 at Summit, I mean, I know how to run a challenge group. I think I've run 100 of them. But you never know a golden nugget you're going to walk away with. You never know one thing that someone's going to say that you may have even heard. Or maybe you heard it, you just never paid attention to it. You're going to be like, aha, that's what I needed to know. Like, that's going to make the change now. So I challenge you guys to come in here today with an intentional mind. Listen to what he's saying. Don't let it just be fluff, but really soak it in. Take notes. I take notes like crazy. I love to take notes because not just notes on what he's saying, but what I felt. But what I felt about it, because I want to be reminded of that. I want that fire to keep burning in my belly. I challenge you guys to do that today. Come in those doors with an open mind, erase everything you know, and pretend like you're starting from the beginning, and just soak it all in. Be here tonight. Be intentional, because after what I heard, what we're going to hear tonight, it's going to be exceptional, and not just in the Beachbody, but in life in general. So with that, I present to you.
I don't even know if I should get up after that introduction. I'm always a big believer if you have really low expectations, then everyone comes out happy. So, no, I'm actually really excited to be here. This was, like Monica mentioned, this was something, what was it, about a couple months ago. We talked about it, and I got really excited about the opportunity to be here. I love when we do these kind of trainings where people have some skin in the game to be here. Okay, that you guys put in the effort to be here, because I think you come and you're prepared to actually invest in hopefully something that will help you guys move your business forward. And honestly, it was a privilege. And I've been thinking about it a lot. I was telling Monica, like, I've had there's probably like 10 different presentations that I thought, oh, that'd be really good. And I could do this and this. And then I was just like, and as the time would go on, I would talk to you and get other updates. Like, no, okay, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that. And honestly, what I'm the presentation I'll walk you guys through, and I just created specifically for you guys. I've never given this before, so if it sucks, that's why. but it's a reflection of where my impressions are that you're at as a team, and hopefully my goal, I think, and our goal, Craig and I, is work together on this tonight. We're going to kind of come at this at two different fronts. We're going to make sure that you leave here not only with, I think, some mindset training, but also then with some actual execution training as well. And hopefully our goal in all this is that you, boy, this is a really bad view of me. It's not the most flattering shot coming from like that. Although it does make my head about look in the right proportion of my body. I have a very large head. So anyway, the point, I can stop looking at myself now that I see it. The point that I'm trying to get to is if you'll invest for a little, it'll help you guys. Okay, this isn't going to be just some canned rote, training. It's hopefully will be something that's designed for you guys and where you guys are at. So what I was going to talk to you guys tonight is something I think that as I've thought more about it, you guys are in the frame or at the point in your team when you're really at a real pivot point in a lot of ways. Because a lot of you in here are learning what it really takes to lead other people, to be a leader, to lead yourself. And that's not easy. There's a lot of things you're raised, and so you've heard me give this, I talk about having a business owner mindset versus an employee mindset. A lot of us are conditioned to think like employees a lot. A lot of you guys have been that way. And so you kind of, where you trade time for dollars. I show up at work, I leave work, and when I'm not there, it's someone else's problem, and da-da-da-da. And what happens when we bring that mindset into this business, it sets us up for failure. It really hurts us. Because we have to think like business owners. And really, if we want to be successful, there are some shifts that we have to start taking. And so when I start thinking about success and the team, where you guys are at right now, I start thinking, well, what does that mean? I know these guys want to be successful. At least I'm guessing you do. You're here. You didn't just show up. You worked. You earned it. You got here. You're taking time out of your evening to come. right? And I'm sure it's not just for the food, it's not just for me, but it's because you're here for your business, okay? And but so what can I add to that? What can we add to that? And I think where I landed is I want to talk to you guys about what success really is, and what it takes to be successful, okay? And what I want to make sure that I do is I'm going to tell it to you guys like I tell it to my kids. Or I try to tell it to my kids. Okay? And the reason why is because as I started thinking about it, how I would teach to my kids is just the pure, what I found in my life to be what it takes to be successful. Now, I might be wrong. You guys might disagree with me, and you might think that I'm a big idiot, okay? That's fine. But I promise you, at least from what I've seen in my life, and what I've seen in working with thousands of other people just like you, what I'm going to share with you tonight, honestly, is been, if not the principal thing, one of the key principal things that determines people who fail at this and who succeed at this, okay? I'm going to start by talking about Brioni, okay? Does anyone know what Brioni is? Does anyone know what Brioni is? Okay, I didn't either. Brioni is a very high, who said soup?
I said food.
Food, close. They're a very, 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 very high-end handmade suit manufacturer out of Italy. Brioni suits. They are extremely expensive suits, like extremely expensive. And a couple years back, as part of my a graduate program I was doing when I decided, got a wild hair at my butt and decided to go back to my MBA. To Brioni headquarters, okay, and watch these guys and how they make suits. And I was struck by a couple things. First of all, they actually have 24 karat gold thread, which I thought was really cool. But that's not the point of the story. When we first walked in, there was a room that was probably half this size and was packed with desks, old wooden desks. And at these desks were these teenagers, late teenagers, who were literally on rags sewing. And you just saw there was just these pieces of fabric everywhere that these kids would just sew. And they would come in 10 hours a day and sew, okay? And they started talking to us about the Brioni apprenticeship, what it takes to become a master tailor for Brioni. It's a 10-year program. For 3 years, you're sitting in this room sewing rags, perfecting your stitch, okay? And then they take to cutting and sizing. And then you're following a master tailor for a certain amount of years before you actually finally get a chance to be a tailor for Brioni, okay? There's a reason why those suits obviously are so sought after and the reason why they're so freaking expensive, okay? Make a pivot here to something that is near to my heart, and it's a piano in my living room, okay? Now, I have a love-hate relationship with the piano in my living room. Okay, it is my wife's great-grandmother's piano, and I promise you the thing weighs like 7 tons, okay? I've had to move it like 5 times. That's how I know how much it weighs. That's the part about hate. But what I love about it is that my wife loves to play the piano and she loves to sing. And so usually once a day or at least several times during the week, I'll come home from work or sometime in the evening when I'm there, she'll sit at the piano and she'll play and she'll sing. And it's wonderful to me. I listen to her talent in playing this piano. I listen to her talent in singing. And it's honestly, you guys, it's one of those things that makes me just fall in love with her every time I hear her sing, because it's beautiful to me. And I know that she works on it. It's something that's important to her. And just as important, my daughter now, who's 9, has started taking piano lessons. She sits at that same piano, and it's not as beautiful. It's the same song, the same chords, and after like 40 minutes, I'm like, ugh. But it's also beautiful because of the effort that she's putting into it. Because I know that my wife got to be able to do what she can do because of what my daughter is going through right then. And I see a lot of beauty in that. And I think about myself, and there's not a lot of things in my life that I can actually say, put a finger on, but one of the things that I do well is baseball, okay? So I'm having a hard time letting go of it. I'm 40 years old. I still got to love my glory days, but And I had calculated one time, I thought I'd probably dedicate about a little over 11,000 hours of my life to learning how to play baseball. Some of the time I was little till I stopped playing. And when I first started, I wasn't great, right? I wasn't great, wasn't perfect, but over the years I developed into a fairly good baseball player. I actually played with Craig. That's how Craig and I actually first met. We met when we were 13 years old, so we've known each other for a very long time. And we played baseball growing up. And so Craig can tell you how sucky I was, how much better I got over the years. But here's the question. So what do these three little experiences have in common? A $50,000 suit, my wife and my daughter playing the piano, and me hitting a little white baseball.
Takes time to practice.
Time, effort, practice, patience,
Determination.
okay? All these things are things that would be considered successful, but there's a price to pay, okay? And that's where I want to start tonight, okay? Who here wants to be successful? This is one of those dumb, like, hey, everybody wants to be successful. Yeah. But then I'm going to say, no, seriously. No, honestly, I want you to think about that question again. Who here wants to be successful, okay? Because honestly, you guys, that's where this starts, is this internal question that we have is, am I really willing to pay the price that it is to be successful? And I'm not trying to overwhelm you, I'm not trying to scare you, but I would be lying to my kids if I told them, hey, you need to kind of go through the motions and you'll be successful. That would be a lie to my kids. And as much as people want to get in front of you and say, let me just tell you how easy this is blah, 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 that's bullcrap, okay? Because there's a price to pay. And if your expectations aren't set accordingly to dedicate yourself to it, then you're going to be frustrated and you're going to feel like someone lied to you and you're going to feel like someone deceived you. So I'm not going to do that tonight, okay? This might be the most honest conversation on success anyone's ever stood in front of you and had, okay? Because the first thing I want to do is go right here. So if you want to be successful, no, seriously, so why? And I'm literally asking a question. Why? Why do you want to be successful? Freedom. Freedom? Okay.
Provide.
To provide? Okay.
To accomplish something I put my mind
Okay. Accomplish something you put your mind to, sense of accomplishment. Okay. What else?
To my kids a better life.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Make your kids have a better life.
Travel the world.
Travel the world.
Security.
Security.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Financial independence.
Financial independence, which tends to encompass a lot of those other pieces too, right? This is the reason I'm setting this up on purpose, guys, for a reason. Because a lot of your success is, as much as you might not believe this, and it might sound rote, starts in your head. What it takes to be successful is honestly the first step in you actually realizing that success, in my experience. Okay? And I'm going to explain that more in just a minute. Okay? So we're going to have an honest conversation about it tonight. And the first thing I want to start with, look at this, guys, is this. I'm going to have to take these first few minutes and I'm going to deprogram your brains just a little bit. Okay? And I'm going to start with this statement. I know I'm walking out of screen. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm trying to stay right here if I can. I'm a wanderer. I need to deprogram your brains a little bit, okay? And what I mean by that is this first statement. Stop looking for shortcuts, okay? And the reason is because our world right now, the reason why most people struggle to be successful is because they spend more time trying to figure out what the secrets to success are, what the shortcuts to success are, than actually developing and dedicating themselves to something long enough to be successful. In about a 5-minute Google image search, I brought up all of these different things. I just typed in secrets to success. And as you can see, there is no shortage of someone willing to tell you what the secrets to success are. Okay? And the hard thing about that is what this creates in your mind is this mentality. There's some secret to success that someone's not telling me. Okay? And if that person's successful, they figured out what that is. Okay? And so therefore, I just have to listen to what they're doing, and they'll come in and say, well, it's this and this and this and this and this. Okay? But the difference is, the problem with that is success isn't, it doesn't start there. All of these guys, people that were having, Brian Tracy, whoever that guy is, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these guys, right? They think different. They view things differently. That's where we have to start with. Then you have your own secrets to success. Because you know what your secret's going to be? Whatever it took for you to think differently. That's going to be the trigger for you. And I don't know what it is for you, or for you, or for you, or for you, because there's some things that you're running from that you're not running from, and things that you're running from that you're hiding from that you're not running from, and I don't know what that is. Just like my kids, when I'm trying to teach my kids about what they need to do to be successful and how to dedicate themselves to something, I know that my son is terrified of failure. And I know that that is going to keep him from being able to throw himself into something because he is so afraid of what will happen if it doesn't work. But my daughter doesn't care. My daughter is just like, whatever. my daughter's issue is going to be that, will she ever stick with something long enough to actually let it happen before she gets bored with it? Okay? So they're different. We're different, but it comes from one. There is a common source, at least in my opinion. And that's what I was going to talk to you guys about tonight. Okay? But you have to understand something, that you've been, probably a lot of you, brainwashed in thinking that there's some secret thing out there, there's something that other people get that you don't get, and we want to stop that right now, okay? It's a distraction, it's pandering, if I can be blunt, okay? And it puts you at a disadvantage when it comes to actually being successful, because you overcomplicate it and you're looking for shortcuts to it instead of honestly the one thing that really will make a difference. And the difference is there's no secret, okay? There's no secret. As most people, because you guys know, I'm gonna put up here and be like, tell me secrets, give me shortcuts, okay? So if I can deprogram your brain for just a minute, so when I put this up here, you're not like, that was really anticlimactic, okay? If I can get you to just think about, just for a second, the truthfulness of this, then maybe we've got a chance to shift some of your mindsets tonight. Maybe we've got a chance to make this a pivot point, a turning point for you tonight, okay? It's not a secret. Most people don't like it. It's self-discipline, aligned to your goals. It's a lot more exciting to go through one of these books, right? Self-discipline aligned to your goals is not nearly as exciting as the 8 secret success, or the 8 successful entrepreneur secrets, or this 12-book series, or whatever that happens to be. But here's the deal. And if I'm being truthful to you like I am to my kids, all that's window dressing. None of that matters, okay? That's the byproduct of having self-discipline, all right? So let me walk through this real quick, okay? I already set that up, about your mindset. All right, so every day when I come into work, I have a decision that I have to make. On the right-hand side is the elevator, and on the left-hand side is the stairs. I don't know how many of you make this decision every day. This is actually that's a big decision for me, especially if I've had legs day that morning. and it's funny to me because there's sometimes when I take the elevator, and there's sometimes when I take the stairs. But the other day, when I was having this little mental morning, oh my gosh, should I take the stairs? Should I take the elevator? I started thinking to myself, well, why would anybody take the stairs? Why do people take the stairs instead of the elevator? Usually. Exercise.
Yeah, elevator broken.
Elevator's broken. Not exactly the way I was trying to take the conversation, but I see what you're saying. But like, for example, it was when we were at Jeff Hill. If you go to the Jeff Hill and there's the stuff, we're a fitness company, let's go. We're a fitness company, let's go upstairs. Okay. And when I started thinking about that, I'm like, well, they both lead to the same place, right? Elevator's taking me to the second floor, stairs taking me to the second floor. I have to go to the second floor. But they get me there in 2 very different ways, right? One's the shortcut, one's the easy way, okay? One is I have to do a little bit of work to get up. They both lead to the same place, but do I arrive the same? Well, no, because one I had to do some effort, and one that's handed to me. If I take this analogy probably farther than it deserves to be taken, if I were to my whole life take stairs versus the elevator, I'm going to take the stairs. That small decision impacts me long term. Start getting into what I was going to talk about self-discipline. Making yourself do crap you don't like, okay? Yeah, it makes me do my stuff I don't want to do anyway. And that's exactly right. That's exactly. You should take, because you do things where temporarily it's hard, but in the long run, it's going to give me this stage right here. I remember the first time I heard this, I was 12, 13, 14, mid-teens, and probably was how I was raised, but for some reason, this statement, okay, to do so you can have the things that others can't have. For some reason, this just struck me. And true. Do the things that others aren't willing to do what others have. And I will tell you guys, in all honesty, I just celebrated my 40th birthday. That I have had in my career, every single one can be traced back to this statement. Craig's known me for most of that. I throw myself into crap. Like if someone's not willing to do it, I'm like, I'll do it. I'll figure out a way to make it happen. And it's not like, oh, what I'm saying is one of the things that I have found that's important for me is that I have to keep this mindset fresh. Okay, so let me illustrate what I'm talking about. Okay, the mindset shift is it's easy to be one of those people who's out there looking for the shortcuts. It is. What's hard is to be the person. All right, it's about being consistent, but not just being consistent. It's about having the self-discipline to consistently do the right things. All right. Now, the line where a lot of people themselves is that's not true. You're not going to do them perfectly. In fact, but that's the whole point of it, right? Is you're not going to do them perfectly. Part of that self-discipline to do the work is how we get the experience that we. That's the price that we pay. Is that making sense to you guys? Yeah. Okay, it's in that very moment. Okay, it's in those actions that, and then we set ourselves apart from other people. All right. Here's the truth for you. Be successful. Like to do, there are things you don't like to do. Would you guys agree with me on that?
Yes. Okay.
We all have those things, and chances are for a lot of you, some are the same, some are different. Right? You don't need self-discipline to do the things you like to do. Okay?
Drink shake up.
Yes. Waking up and having a nice peanut butter shake is not a hard thing. Okay? At least for some people. Some people it is hard. Okay? But if all you do are the things you like to do about coaching, chances are you're going to come short on your goals. You're going to feel like you're working your business. You're going to feel like you're doing the right thing, but all you're doing is choosing to do the things you'd rather do anyway. The difference between success and failure now is to do the hard things that you don't want to do. And I know I'm hitting that point home over and over and over again, you guys, because honestly, I know that when you leave here tonight, as much as I hope otherwise, you're going to remember probably 10% of what I say. And if I can get it in your brain, this idea that the difference between success and failure is the self-discipline to do the hard things, to do the things you don't want to do. Why? Because everybody else out there is fine doing the things they like to do. And they're great. They're in their mediocre life, and I don't mean that derogatory, but they're just kind of pounding around being mediocre with each other. Okay? And they love to bring up people in that mediocre circle. But if we want to succeed, if we want to do things and really push ourselves to have all that stuff that you guys talked about, we've got to do things differently. And that change, 99% of the time, is in doing the hard things that you don't want to do. Okay? So, things that are outside your comfort zone, things that are hard. Here's another truth. Okay? What makes successful people successful is a self-discipline to do those things that aren't easy for them, but that are necessary. Now, here's the idea, though. Okay? And there's a point I want you to remember. It's not that those things are any easier for people who are successful. It's not easier for them, okay? It's that successful people have the self-discipline to look at those things in a different way. Does that make sense, you guys? And this is the switch, okay? This is the switch that I want you guys to, that I'm hoping that for some of you it reaches your heart, okay? It's not that it's easier for certain people. It's not that it's easier for Monica to be consistent on social media or to be consistently inviting people. It's not that it's easier for, insert superstar diamond, whatever here, name here, to do the things that you don't like to do. The difference is they look at it differently, okay? They look at it as part of the process. They look at it as part of the price that they've got to pay, okay? We've all heard this one, right? Sacrifice is giving up of something good for something better. The addition to this that I always like to add is this, okay? Sorry, right here. Sacrifice is giving up something I want now for something better. It is in our nature, when we make decisions in the moment, to rely a lot on emotion and the needs of the moment. This is why self-discipline is so important. When I'm looking at, let's say, an ice cream sandwich or an ice cream sundae and a big head of kale, okay? In the moment, what do I want? Sundae. In the long term, what's going to bring me the most happiness? The kale. Okay? We laugh about that, but we do it all the time. My alarm clock goes off at 5:30 in the morning. In the moment, what do I want? Sleep. Long term, it's the best. Get my butt out of bed and work out. Okay. That's the switch. That's where self-discipline comes in. Okay, it's that focus of understanding the price of sacrifice and the role that it has. It's not just to be miserable. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, it's so hard." It's not about being miserable, guys. It's about choosing really what's going to make you happy. That's successful people. That's how they see hard things. Okay. For example, a lot of you are probably familiar with this study that they did many, many years ago. It's very, very popular. It's younger children. Okay. I think it was between the ages of like 7 and like 12 or something like that. And they put them in a room. They put up big marshmallows. And they said, "You can have some of these marshmallows if you want. If you wait 15 minutes, I think it was, half an hour. If you wait, we'll give you twice as many marshmallows. If you don't eat any now, we'll give you twice as many after you're done." Okay? All the kids had to do was just wait. Then they went out and they shut the door. Kids in there, bowl of marshmallows. Okay? Now, it was interesting because there were some kids who were like, screw it. There were some kids that kind of held out for a little while, but eventually was like, "Yeah, I got to go in." Okay? But there were some kids who waited. They waited. And then they got double marshmallows. The interesting thing about this study was they had these years, very long study. What do you think was? What do you think the difference was? Most kids who waited, who delayed what they wanted in the moment for what they wanted most, those were the ones who were the most successful. Those are the ones who had who earned the most. Those are the ones that had the happiest families. Those are the ones that did that. Now, I'm not here to tell you that that's the only thing that determines success. I'm telling you, it's damn near pretty close. Because at its core, if you think about it, but let me, poor Craig's here, so we've known he has seen more of my ex-wife draft.
This is new.
This is all for you guys. So on this side right here, we have our emotional energy. When I call emotional energy, that's like what we use to do hard things. This is our willpower. This is where the discipline has to be because it's not something we're doing naturally, easy by ourselves. I can't be careful if I stand too close. This can be like they're at like a Chippendale show or something. Yeah, well. Good point, Craig. I was going to say something else, but I'll stop. And then on this bottom one is time. Okay? So I want you to think about this. And I'm going to say a lot of the same ways, but same things, but some. You pay the price to learn how to do those things. You have the self-discipline to learn, or you don't. Now, the thing that terrifies me as a parent, that's why I put it on the top right-hand corner, okay? One of my biggest fears as a parent is that my children will fall into this cycle. That I won't teach them the importance of dedicating themselves and self-discipline, that they will fall into this cycle where they will walk around feeling like they're entitled to things, like the whole world owes them something, like there's some secret they're not being told, all this kind of stuff, and they're just going to keep in this loop, and worst case scenario, they'll live in my basement until they're 50, okay? Hopefully we won't get that bad. But the point is, there's a reason why when my son signs up for karate, and 2 weeks later he comes home and he's like, Dad, I hate karate, I don't want to do karate anymore. I'm like, dude, we signed a 12-month contract. You're in for 12 months. and he looks at me, he's like, I don't like it. I said, we're not quitting. You're in it. You're going to do it all the way. There's a reason. So a couple months back, my son Joshua, I don't know how to spot my heart with him right now. He's going through some issues, but he's 10. He's too young to have the world be heavy on him, but he has some anxiety issues. But he's at that stage where he hasn't quite started growing yet. And so he's really thick. And kids at school started to tease him about being a little thick, right? And so he came home and we were kind of talking a little bit about it. And I said, well, son, why don't you do P90? Okay, because he saw me doing Beast, and he was like, I'm not doing that. That's crazy doing that. He sees his mom doing Insanity, and he's like, I'm not doing that. And I said, this is going to be for you. And so I said, here's what P90 is. And we went through a calendar, and I said, it's 3 months. I said, if you can do it, if you'll stick with it, at the end, I'll buy you a used iPad. And I emphasize the word used. Okay? I'll buy you a used iPad, okay, that you can have for yours. Because he likes to do Minecraft and stuff, things like that. And in the moment, he signed up. I'm on it. 3 days into it, Dad, I don't know if I want to do it. I'm like, huh? You know, because I know, Dad, Carvers never quit. So that's right, Carvers never quit. There's a thing we have in our family called the Carver mantra. So every night when my kids go to bed, they say this thing. I brainwash it. It's total brainwashing. I wasn't. But while they're young, I'm brainwashing them. Okay. It's Carvers are good kids that are faithful. They always do their best. They never quit. Heavenly Father, give them a good heart to do good things and a good brain to make good choices. They have strong characters. They can do hard things. They're honest people. I trust them. They'll work hard and accomplish great things in their life. They say every night before they go to bed.
Oh.
And so he says Carvers never quit. What's that? I'll write it down for you. He says, I know, I never quit, never quit. I said, that's right. And I said, but why don't we quit? Okay, and there's opportunities but I teach them the same thing I'm telling you guys, because sometimes in life to do the things you want to do, you have to do hard things. And if you run away from it every time it gets hard, then you're going to spend your whole life running away from things, son. And you're going to wonder why life is owning you instead of you owning life. And I'm not going to let that happen. He's 10. He's like, Dad, he's got 10, right? But he's going to get that from me every damn day of his life. Sorry about the French. I'm really tired. I didn't sleep a lot last night. But he's going to get it from me, because in my life, that's what I've learned is what it's important to be successful. That's what I've seen makes a difference between people who are on the outside looking in and the people who will get to what they want out of life. Okay, so this is also why it's so hard to teach people how to be successful, because it starts right here. I don't know what you're running from. I don't know why it's so hard. I don't know what it is that the demons that chase you or the things that makes you go, But I do know this. If I can teach you how to be disciplined to do the things that you don't want to do, but that are required for you to be successful, then you can be successful. But it's in here. It's not in a book. It's not in whatever, okay? It's in here. It's a decision that you have to make, okay? It's a mindset about how we approach hard things. Okay, and I know this is getting kind of heavy, guys, and this isn't like a rah-rah. I'm laying it on you how it really is. It's a mindset thing about how you do hard things, because all of our hard things are different, okay? It's a decision we have to make and have the self-discipline to do that. Here's the thing I do know, though. Here's the good news. Now that I've scared the hell out of all of you guys about how hard this is going to be. Here's the deal. The great thing about this is you're paying the price. There comes a point. It's a pivot point, okay? It's a pivot point in your brain and in your life when all of a sudden you see it differently now, okay? And as you paid the price to go through this, you've earned now the experience. You've developed the expertise. You've created the efficiencies in how you act because you paid the price to do that. Not just the easy things, but the hard things. You now have all these things in place and you have confidence. You have confidence because you have the experience, because you're competent, because you've pushed yourself. You haven't quit, okay, when others around you maybe have. And here's the fun thing. On this red side, that's when it sucks. But after it gets past that point, now that's where the rewards are. When you're doing those hard things, and it's not because the things have become less hard. It's because you look at them differently now. They have a purpose. They're not in the moment going kale or ice cream. You're not going, invite now or TV. You're not going follow up or mindlessly scroll through Facebook feeds. You know that even though I don't necessarily enjoy inviting 3 people every day or adding 5 people to my network, I know that to get where I want to go, I've got to do that and not this. Does that make sense? And that's discipline. That's the self-discipline you have to teach yourself to do. And you look at it different. In the beginning, it's hard. It's hard. And anyone who tells you different is lying to you or trying to sell you something, okay? But that's where the rewards are. But it's not always that way. But you have to pay the price to earn that experience that you want so desperately to have, okay? And this is something I'm going to, again, try to deprogram you. In our instant microwave culture, we want things now. Flipping houses, make millions of dollars, do this. We almost laugh at people who want to put in work. Like they're the dumb ones, right? I've never met a successful person who hadn't invested heavily in the beginning when the effort was not paying for itself before they got the reward. Success will always lag the effort, okay? The effort, the things you're doing right now are going to set you up for success 3 months from now. But the problem is if you're looking at it right now and you're going, this doesn't work, I'm done, I'm taking my ball and going home. 3 months from now, you're going to be taking your ball home and going somewhere else. Okay? Does that make sense, you guys? Success always lies behind the work done to do the effort. Successful people form the habit of doing things that failures don't like doing. Great quote, okay? Great quote. Now, lest I just sit up here and talk all theory with you, I'm going to take it down one more level before we get to Craig. With this in mind now, and undoubtedly, hopefully, you've been thinking about you and how this applies to you, okay? And how this applies to how you think and opportunities you have to develop self-discipline. I'm going to try to take it down again, just one level that gives you maybe some more actionable pieces to go on. As a coach, here are 3 common things that I know, okay, that you need to have self-discipline in, okay? The first one is the discipline to be proof that the products work. Okay? Now, obviously, I'm talking about our physical, our fitness, Shakeology. Be proof that the products work. When I'm working with coaches, it's really, really interesting. Just like a lot of your challenges, even coaches start the beginning of the year pretty strong, and then they hit like the midsummer months, and it's like, it's harder. And about this time, because they kind of maybe got lazy during the middle of the summer months, about this time, we started to have these conversations about, man, I just haven't been, my recruiting, my network isn't growing as much. Things that they're not happening as quick as they used to for me. The first question I ask them is, when was the last program you did? And almost every time the answer is this, well, I'm kind of doing this workout here and I'm doing this. I said, I didn't ask that. What program are you doing? Okay. What program are you doing? Now, the reason why is when we talk about being proof that the products work. It is about having a good physique, but it's also about having the good customer experience that we're talking to people about going through a program. Is going through a program easy? No. Is it, now honestly, is it easier to go through a program or just kind of wake up and go, I'm going to do this workout? Ice cream or kale? Okay? The hard thing to choose is to do a program for most people. But what's the most beneficial thing for your business? To do a program. To share that experience. Hey, I'm on day 15 of this or day 21 of this. This is what I'm doing. You're talking about it differently. The people that you're talking to resonate with that. Okay? Because they're not going to sign up and buy 10 packs worth of stuff. And if you can be spotty on demand, they still need to do a program. Because if they just start doing all the cart stuff, it's going to be difficult. So do a program. The second thing, be proof that the products work. And now I'm going to take a little liberties with the 3 vital behaviors. Okay? I can do that because I'm in charge of that. Okay? In addition to physical, the physical side of being proof that products work, I'm going to talk about the emotional side of it too for just a second. Now, personal development falls into place here. One of the currencies that we use as coaches, or you use as coaches, that we all use together, okay, is this emotional energy. We invest in people. We give of ourselves to people, okay? And a lot of times when we're not engaging in personal development, we're not putting water back on our well. We kind of start to shrivel up a little bit. Okay, and it gets taxing and it gets very hard, and that makes self-discipline very difficult. Okay, one of the best ways to help yourself with self-discipline is to do personal development. That's why it's one of the vital behaviors. Okay, does that make sense? Also, emotionally with friends, have balance in your life. Spend time with your family. Do those kind of things as well. So when I say about just doing the hard things, it doesn't mean you wake up every day and you're miserable. We're picking that up, right? I'm overemphasizing on it. But if all you guys ever do is wake up and do the hard things, remember, there's things you enjoy doing, do those too, okay? But what we're saying is the things that are hard for you that you know you need to do them. Don't run from them. Just get them done. And then have balance in your life, okay? So you're emotionally safe. And then also throw in here, I mean, if I didn't do this, but the spiritual side of it, okay? There's a spiritual side of it I'm not going to get into, but when we talk about that side, I think that's an important one to mention as well, okay? The second thing, okay? First one, self-discipline. To be proof that the products work, okay? Engaging in programs, doing our personal development, keeping our life in balance, that kind of discipline, okay? Time management, all that stuff. The second one now is to drive business systems relentlessly. There's a lot of big words in that statement right there, okay? What I mean by this is the discipline to do your business and to not just kind of aimlessly kind of guess, but to actually take the time and the discipline to do the hard thing, to make sure that there's purpose to your actions and you have actually things that you do systematically for your business. And this is the reason why. When you have systems in your business, they don't have to be complex. They can be real simple. I wake up every day and I want to add 5 people to my network by the end of the day. So I visit 3 pages, I do this, I look who like me, and then I make sure I've added them. That's a system. Okay, there's a program. A system is something you can then take and teach and give to somebody else. It also gives empowering for you because then you can look at it and say, well, here's the activities I'm engaging in the system, and if they're not yielding the results, now I can actually I can tweak the system. Instead of just going, I don't know why it's not working. I feel like I'm working hard, but I don't know. Okay? It takes discipline for a lot of people to do this. There are some people that come by it naturally. You guys know who those people are. You probably all rely on them to give you the system you should be doing because they make it. Okay? Okay? So here's some examples. Some of you listened to the National Wake Up Call on Monday. If you didn't, you should. It's good. Okay? But Megan talked about her business system. And I kind of took this from her just to kind of illustrate it. For example, one of the things that I teach coaches, there's really 3 main categories of systems that we need to be aware of, okay? The first one is expanding our network, okay? What I tell people is a good goal to have is 5 new people added to your network, your social media contacts, 5 new people expanded to you a day. So however many friends you had yesterday, try to have 5 more by the end of the day today, okay? Now that's not easy, for some people in the beginning, but there's ways to do that, and that's a whole different training, okay? But that's a system, right? 5 new people, and then I invite my social media page. I bring them into my world. The second system then is challenge groups and the coach opportunity. How do I run this? Well, this is what Megan does, just as an example. For social media page, she posts about her. She posts about her family, what she's doing. She tells her story. She talks about Beachbody, and then on the 1st of every month, she starts a new challenge group, 21-day challenge group. It's 21-day fix every month. Okay, and on the 15th of every month, she starts a new coach sneak peek, is what she calls it, 5 days long. And she invites from her social media page to these groups, okay? And coaches that she has in the challenge group, she invites into the coach opportunity presentation, and coaches people who come into the coach sneak peek, they sign up, she puts them in a challenge group. Okay, that's her system. Okay. Then the third category then is onboarding and kind of getting people off. Those are 3 critical systems. Now, this is not a systems training. Okay, I'm sure you guys have systems that you guys are plugged into and using, and I'm not saying, I'm just trying to give you an example of what I'm talking about. But if I were to say the discipline as a coach for business systems, I'd say you have to have at least these 3. Okay, expanding my network, the challenge groups, and the coach opportunity, how we present those to people, how we get in front of people, and then onboarding new coaches. Okay, that's what I would say. And I'm totally happy to send these slides to Monica, and then she can distribute them so you don't have to try to write everything down and copy and take pictures. Okay, now, and then the last one is to create a great team culture. Okay, and what I mean by that is honestly leading other people. We lead other people. Most of our leading of other people happens in the team culture that we create for them to experience. Do we create a culture that enables them, that encourages them to be independent business owners, or one that stifles that a little bit? So my ideas from that is a team culture should have an identity. This is who we are. I mean, this is a great example, right? I'm wearing a good example, right? This is who we are. Here's our values as a team. This is what we are, this is what we do, what we stand for, and what we don't stand for. We have some uniting goals. So every individual might have their own goals, but as a team, we have goals that kind of bring us together that we can rally around, okay? And they don't have to be complex, right? Shared vision of what we want to accomplish together, and then regular contact, communication as a team. That's why these type of venues are phenomenal for this, okay? But now, I've kind of gotten to the weeds here a little bit, and I did that on purpose, but I'm going to bring it back up now, okay? The self-discipline it takes to do the hard things in these 3 areas, chances are, is what's separating a lot of you in this room from where you want to be. It's not separating you, it's what's next for you. It's that mindset shift that's next for you. And so if I'm you, I probably start with these 3 areas, okay? How am I doing on being proof that the products work, right? Being proud of the product. How am I doing on my business systems? And how am I doing on the team culture piece? And don't try to overwhelm yourself with hundreds of lists, you guys, okay? Pick a couple things. Because the key thing here isn't necessarily what you do right now. It's the self-discipline that you learn to teach yourself to do those things that maybe right now you aren't doing consistently or running from that are hard. Does that make sense, you guys? It's funny, this topic shouldn't be that hard to teach, but it kind of is. Okay, I'm going to end with this, and then I'll shut up so you can listen to the other gringo. And this is story time. Craig will tell you I can't go one presentation without at least one story. So growing up, my grandpa who passed away last year. He grew up in a small town in Idaho called Pocatello. Has ever heard of Pocatello, Idaho?
No.
Okay.
That's one of those states.
It's Idaho. It's way in the west.
Right, Canada.
Yes, exactly. There are more people probably in this metropolitan area than the whole city. Anyway, it's a small town. Well, for Idaho, it's large, but relative to everywhere else, it's small. And if you go into the high school there, because there's only one, my grandpa's pictures are still on the wall. He's this football star, and it's all this old black and white pictures of my grandpa. He holds all these state records still. He was a super jock, right, in high school. So, yes, absolutely. My dad grew up in Southern California, was an all-state football player in Southern California, which is the exact opposite of growing up in Idaho, but he still found a way to succeed. And I remember when my dad would tell us stories about this and just being awed by this. And there was this picture of my dad in his Letterman's jacket. And he still had like his letter, okay? This probably dates me. But to me, the Letterman's jacket growing up was like this big deal. Like I wanted to have a Letterman's jacket. And even more than that, I wanted my girlfriend to wear a Letterman's jacket. I mean, I was like,